Hello, everyone. Share this real quick. Get some mods in here, but welcome to Friday Night Cites. With Central Indiana Cop Watch. Nick. What's up, Jeff? Jeff, I tried to add you as a mod, man. I need you to comment on a video that's not live so I can go back and access the comments later. What's up there, John? Thank you. Dr. Seuss, huh? No, we're going to do some reading today, but not Dr. Seuss. All right, so tonight I had the rest of the civil commitment or involuntary commitment statutes planned. That's Montana through Wisconsin, I believe. But we're going to do that here in a bit. We're going to touch on a few things that I've been seeing in the local media, as well as something else I wanted to talk about. All right. Cindy, I need you to comment too. I couldn't find the ability to make people moderators from live chat comments. You just got to go to a video that's not live and comment, Jeff, because then I can access those. I can make you a mod from there. But one of the things I wanted to talk about first is Houston. The we will track all of you. 1 second. Let me get this. I'm going to read this so I can quote it. Exact. Says something about all you individuals who doesn't say instigate or provoke. I'm gonna say he says poke. Give me 1 second. The Wi-Fi is not doing so well on this. Basically, all you people out there that are provoking, we are going to track all of you, and this is based upon what's going on. You know what happened. The cop shootout, the no-knock raid warrant, and they fucked up, and usual shit. Cops being cops, I was waiting to find out that they raided another cop's house or something. But the point is, they're talking about auditors. They're talking about that, people that cop watch, people that see someone get pulled over and, you know, record, because they consider your behavior, if you will. They consider recording the police while they're doing their job to be, you know, provocative. You're interfering with the officer's duties. You're provoking them into a lawsuit. You know, what the fuck ever. And essentially, but we're gonna read something here tonight. It's from a book called Constructing Crime: Perspectives on Making News and Social Problems by Gary W. Potter and Victor E. Kappeler, Kappeler. Cover looks like that. And we're going to be reading from page 155. Transforming local issues into national problems. In studying social problems, one critical theme is the relationship between local and national perceptions, and the way in which some, but by no means all, local phenomena come to be regarded as issues of far wider significance. They're referring to ICE, but the panic about auditors serves to remind us that provocation problems are extremely localized, and that in crime, as in so much else, it is difficult to generalize about the American experience. On the other hand, certain extraneous factors demand that a local problem should be viewed in a national context, and that policy responses should be developed accordingly. Now, what they're doing is they're amplifying this problem. They're taking the opportunity to essentially assert that there's a much larger problem, such as a war on police or something of this nature similar to that. Like they're trying to talk about tracking anyone in America who they deem provocative toward police based upon police breaking into someone's home, having the wrong house, and getting shot. And it's essentially they're utilizing the media to have their stupid press conferences, and then they blow these things out of proportion. And it's because everything is an opportunity to censor free thought. This book is called The Voice of Justice. It's fairly new. It's by Professor Margaret Tarkington at IU Bloomington. It's about reclaiming the First Amendment rights of attorneys. We're going to touch on this a little bit more later. But now, the reason they're so opportunistic with creating this perception that something needs to be done, some sort of policy needs to be implemented, some sort of training needs to be funded, some kind of agenda needs to be enacted to deal with this thing that we've deemed a problem that's in your backyard. You know what I mean? We're going to be tracking everyone, blah, 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 blah. The reason for this is because they want to control everything you're doing. YouTube is putting control in the hands of citizens. Now, what we're going to read here is from Whitney v. California. It's Justice Brandy concurring. Silence, coerced by the force of law, is, in contrast, a completely arbitrary force, entirely dependent on the political views of whichever parties or persons happen to be in political control. He further says, thus, another important First Amendment principle is the idea that the force of law should not be used to coerce silence, to shut down unpopular, or as discussed in the next section, even allegedly dangerous ideas. According to Brandy, the First Amendment demonstrated the founders' understanding that in our government, the deliberative force should prevail over the arbitrary. Now, what they're talking about is tracking anyone that provokes the police. They're talking about YouTubers, and what they're trying to do is silence your ability. And we've seen a lot of the building up to this. Essentially, you're going to start seeing a lot more censorship on YouTube for First Amendment auditors. The more things transgress as far as, build the wall, everybody wants national security, they're going to get it. They're going to start censoring YouTube the way they censored alternative news media, the way they've censored Facebook pages, Twitter. I don't have a Twitter, but, I've read multiple articles about, they've censored all kinds of shit. YouTube is pretty much just next on the list. And like, for instance, this is 2009. This is from Thomson Reuters West brand. Global Issues in Freedom of Speech and Religion. Governments. This is a March 11th, 2008. Governments target internet phenomenon YouTube. BBC International reports. Pakistan, religious or political control. China, full set of censorship tools. Iran, host of foreign sites banned. Burma, banned during protest. Censorship for all reasons. United Arab Emirates, Morocco, Turkey. Now, America is, land of the free, home of the fucking brave, yada, yada, yada. So naturally, we'd be, later on down the list to sort of want to lose our freedoms. But it's coming. You're going to start seeing a lot more YouTube censorship, especially bigger pages that are getting it right. People that have a lot of followers and stuff like that will probably see the censorship first, and then it'll trickle down to people with less subscribers and things of that nature. But it is indeed coming. They're building up all this stuff. They're using these languages. It's a repetition thing. They describe you in so many different terminologies to where no matter what, eventually when they arrest you and take you to trial, there's, different people on the juries are going to recognize different key phrases and trigger words that a prosecutor is going to use and things of this nature. In some way, shape, or form, they're going to remember some way that the police described a First Amendment auditor as dangerous. And that's basically the point. That's why they keep coming out with these press conferences where they use this very vague language, but they're very intense about it. And it's usually a local issue that they try to turn into a national phenomenon. But in reality, like I said, it's typically something like this: police acting like police, no knock raid, wrong fucking house, and they get shot. It's this is not a new thing. The police do this all the time. But all of a sudden, they want to track anyone that they deem provocative to the police. Anyway, so that's enough of all that. I'm thinking, let's see what you guys got going on in this chat here. What's up there, Real Jingy? What's up, Citizen X? Or Civilian X? Not bad. Anyway, so not too many trolls tonight. Hold on 1 second. I got some messages coming in here. So, for shits and giggles, locally, as you may have noticed, I put in for a public records request for, any disciplinary actions that were taken against 3 specific officers: Officer Daniel Reed, Officer Patrick Cites, and Officer Robert Hagler. The 3 of these officers were involved in early October 2017 in a very controversial evening with a local EMT that was friends with, I believe, Officer Daniel Reed. You may recognize him from my February 2016 arrest. He's the officer that mentions that he can smell cigarettes on me, so he knows I'm going to go outside. This officer testified under oath that he could not smell alcohol on his friend Tron Gorpatsinko when they pulled him over. I believe that this is what was testified to by Officer Patrick Cites, from what I understand. Anyway, the EMT, he gets let go. He's later in a head-on collision where, he was on the wrong side of the road. He didn't hit his brakes. He was speeding. He was drunk. Everything that went wrong was completely his fault, and a whole lot of shit went wrong. And he survived, but he killed 2 people that owned a local pizza place. They were coming back from a pizza delivery, and basically he headlight to headlight into their lane and killed them. He got 11 years. Essentially, all kinds of stuff came out, on the witness stand in court. This would have been, a couple months ago. The headlines end up, it's Judge Rips LP Cops or something of this nature. Basically, this judge who's essentially normally doesn't give a shit, it seems, goes in and calls these cops disgraceful, dereliction of duty. Hopefully they will be disciplined, yada, 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 but that's in another forum. So locally, we have a police merit commission, and they're responsible for hiring, firing, disciplining, training, yada, 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 the local police officers. So I put in a public records request to see, I assumed they, I don't know, did something, at least pretended to do something, wrote down that he got a timeout, even if he did something. At least one of them, nothing. None of these three officers have ever had any sort of disciplinary action against him. Which typically when people were like, yeah, that means they're great cops, that means that they've never been held accountable for anything. It's worse that they've never had any sort of disciplinary action, but they've never had any disciplinary action for how this specific encounter with this EMT happened. Now, later, what has happened is we, it's not a joint, it's just a cigarette. Later, what has happened is we've had a new prosecutor that's been elected, and they have their choice to keep, the old regime's people or get rid of whoever and replace them, whatever. One of the prosecutors that was let go, a deputy prosecutor that was let go, was name's Anna McNamara, and basically she's the prosecutor who questioned these police officers in court, about this instance where this EMT, and she questioned the officers. She's claiming that she was let go or fired or whatever because her questioning of the officers being so rigorous and wanting so much of the truth to come out and things of this nature, that she's claiming she was fired. That, I believe, her last day would have been December 31st. Recent, past couple, maybe week or two, she's basically engaged in like an online, Facebook comment warfare with the local prosecutor's office, and they're responding with press releases and Facebook posts and things of this nature. But she's now pro bono representing this family of the individuals who, were killed in the car accident. So my local community is sort of, discussing this a lot online, and everybody's really upset with the new prosecutor's office because he's been in office for like a full, what is today, February 1st? So he's been in office for a full month. Why hasn't he, done anything? Why haven't these cops been charged, arrested, yada, yada, yada? And I'm curious as to, one of the things that I'm curious about is why nobody in my community wanted to see these officers charged until the new prosecutor's office came in. And also, this happened in the first week of October of 2017, and I want to say the information came out around February of 2018. So it's been almost a year, whereas 11 of those months it would have been under our former LaPorte County prosecutor, John Espard. So who essentially chose not to charge these police throughout the entirety of the prosecution of the EMS. And locals in my community are sort of now upset with the new prosecutor because this isn't what I voted for. And it's getting really interesting around here. You know, it's amazing what else is going on in my town other than me. You know, and the fuck ups that I point out that have happened with me, because these LaPorte Police Department officers have fucked up quite a bit on their own in other places, up to and including getting people killed, which is interesting because what we're talking about is officers from some of my videos. Officer Patrick Cites, you may notice, arrest me on July 3rd for battery when I talk about his Facebook post after it's clearly self-defense. But, you know, two of these cops that are in my videos that people are so quick to claim are just great officers are responsible for 2 deaths. And there's been no accountability. You know, the chief, our new chief of police, took his position a few days before this happened. So essentially it happened on his watch. You know, the lack of an investigation happened on his watch, the lack of discipline, things of this nature. Be so quick to judge in either direction, huh? Because ironically, one of the cops that I asked to be fired based upon my instances with him in February of 2016 is the cop that was the friend. And one has to wonder, had they fired him when this EMT got pulled over, who would have been there? Would he have had a friend in this crowd of officers to say, hey, let this guy go? Or would the rest of the officers have just done their job? Oh yeah, Civilian X. New chief took office, I believe, first week of October. And then this happens like as a matter of fact, I believe he may have took office October 2nd. Yeah, because I want to say it's the same city council meeting as city attorney Nick Otis becomes, you know, poster boy for how to ruin your career in 24 hours for dummies. But yeah, definitely happened on the new chief's watch. You know, he's adamantly clear that they're, you know, he said it like he was proud in his little letter. Interestingly enough, the same city attorney and their firm, Nick Otis, Matt Hagenow, and Martin Coos of Newby, Lewis, Kaminsky, and Jones are representing City of Elkhart in their long lost records case right now. Rizzuto v. Cooper, I believe. So it's yeah, it's interesting just how widespread that you know that it really is. Just Northwest Indiana's got all kinds of shit going on. Lake County would be, you know, Gary, Crown Point, Hammond, things of that nature. Their sheriff recently was indicted for all kinds of shit. I think a Porter County sheriff, a Porter County prosecutor ended up getting fired, maybe lost her bar card, or possibly even prosecuted. You know, Elkhart, they've got a what is it? South Bend Tribune's got a thing going on with ProPublica's local reporting network. So they're exposing all kinds of shit because they're getting funding for it, which is interesting how that works. You gotta wonder if they're gonna keep exposing what's going on once nobody's paying them to do it. But yeah, it's it's getting interesting around here. And it's a show other than the one that I'm putting on. So it's by the way, it's, you know, in Indiana, it's we're having local elections here soon. The primaries are in November or whatever. We get a new mayor in November around here. So we've got that going on as well. All kinds of fun political mudslinging and fighting, and, you know, local politicians, you know, they're all, you know, fighting around for their musical chair seat after the music stops, blah, 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 blah. Actually, Jeff, I am just running for a volunteer position because I don't want to steal anybody's money. Kind of want to help protect the environment. So, but yeah, I'm actually already running for something. I have a local soil and water conservation district supervisory board. I actually thought about running for mayor, though, just to create some debates that are worth watching. However, a new contender has joined the team, or has joined the race, so I may not have to. Hopefully, one of the individuals that just put his name in the hat for mayor will actually get the other guy, the pre-selected individual, the mayor-elect, as they're calling him already. Maybe this new guy can get him to actually get involved in some debates and talk about the issues that the local community gives a shit about, instead of basically taking a bunch of selfies and going on his little radio show, anything but politics, which is kind of a fucking dick, really. He's got the funding and he's just going on the radio and building up this repertoire with the public, and they've got radio show rules that it's anything but politics, which it's anything but politics if you call in and ask him, you know, what's your opinion on this issue. But it's not anything but politics when he tells you who to vote for school board, things of that nature. So, you know, we've got the well-funded, you know, guy that they've chosen. Then we have a self-made individual who's you know, he's a little bit different. He speaks his mind. He's very by the rules and by the book. I like him in many aspects, but he's a stock trader, I believe. It's up there, Regina. And, you know, so he's essentially unable to be bought, but he's you know, he's still his own individual. So we'll see how it goes. But it'll actually be, it seems possible, a real mayoral race around here, instead of you know, what it usually is, which is a few chosen folks to, you know, go at it. We've actually got a ringer now. So anyway, maybe we should get into some sort of Q&A at this point. I think I seen Gingy in here. What's up? What's up, Randall? Yes, local politics at their finest. Give me 1 moment, guys. I gotta let this dog out. Come on, bro. So, what I miss? Yeah, I was gonna ask that too, Civilian. Where are the trolls? I haven't seen too many trolls in here. Matter of fact, are there any trolls in here? All I see is friendlies right now. High Desert Community Watch. Getting harassed by cops right now live. Yeah, all right. Anybody know? What's up there, Revolution? Yes, you can never be too careful. Let's get to it. Actually, really quick, from intellectuals here. All right, so in 2014, all right, there's this guy, Daniel Brewington from Indiana, okay? And long story short, he is why I'm going to beat my most recent charge for intimidation against the city attorney. Because his case is essentially what creates a two-prong definition of what is a threat per se. We're not going to get too deep into that, but long story short, if you want to look it up, it's an Indiana Supreme Court case, 15 S01-1405-CR-309. It's Daniel Brewington, Brewington versus the state of Indiana. Now, basically, a little bit of background information. This individual, Mr. Brewington, had been going through the judicial system. He had a court case with the like divorce proceedings. He was going through a divorce and custody and all of these things, and essentially, he blogged about his disapproval of the judge and the way his case was being handled, and they basically had him psychologically evaluated, and he wrote his opinion about a corrupt system on an online blog. Well, he ends up charged with intimidation against this judge and this psychiatrist, or something of that nature. He ends up, convicted, losing everything on appeal, because he was found to be guilty of the criminal side of the two prongs, even though some of his blog material was covered under this prong, which makes it essentially the attempted criminalization of what may or may not be slander. you know, here in Indiana, it's basically intimidation is a threat, which is defined in Indiana Code 35-45-2-1, Section D, subsection 6 and 7, which say expose the person threatened to hatred, contempt, disgrace, or ridicule, or falsely harm the credit or business reputation of the person threatened, which is essentially considered to be subjected to the actual malice test of a civil proceeding. So what they end up doing is his case ends up basically, you know, being where this issue that was not yet discussed ends up discussed. Well, because of this, it basically creates a doorway to a whole nother issue that ends up being discussed. So this is Monday, May 5th, 2014. Is Brewington v. State a harbinger of a new era allowing judicial criticism by attorneys? Okay. A number of attorneys have contacted me recently, excited that the Brewington v. State decision handed down last week by the Indiana Supreme Court may signal a new tolerance for attorney criticism of judges. Although the non-attorney blogger's conviction for intimidation of the judge was upheld, very strong language in the opinion suggests that non-threatening criticism of a judge is constitutionally protected. Brewington, which was written by new Justice Loretta H. Rush, begins, the United States and the Indiana constitutions afford sweeping protections to speech about public officials or issues of public or general concern, even if the speech is intemperate or caustic. Intemperate is an interesting word. When the American Bar Association in the early 1980s adopted Model Rule 8.2, the rule that governs an attorney's comments regarding judges, judicial candidates, and others, the ABA specifically declared that Rule 8.2 was a constitutionally required actual malice standard and that it was rejecting the previous rule, EC 8-6, that required that a lawyer who criticizes judicial officials should be certain of the merit of his complaint, use appropriate language, and avoid petty criticism. The ABA said that the rule had been misused to penalize criticism considered intemperate in tone. Now, basically, what this is addressing is that if you've ever been in a criminal court and you've ever had specifically, if you've ever had an attorney, but if you've ever specifically had me, if you've ever specifically had a public defender, and you basically tell him that you're not guilty of the crime and you'd like to see evidence or go to trial or deposition the officers or anything of that nature, and the judge doesn't let you do that, the attorney, as opposed to fighting for your right to do that, will often tell you, if he's a public defender, more often than not, that he doesn't want to make the judge mad. Because attorneys they have to come there every day, multiple times a day, and handle these cases. And then as an attorney, you are an officer of the court, which means you essentially don't have First Amendment protected speech because you have forfeited this. You have basically agreed to play by the rules of the court. You've agreed to forfeit your right to constitutionally protected speech. So, fast forward to 2018. This book is addressing this. I read an excerpt from here a little bit ago. Lost my spot now. Anyway, Very good book. It's a professor from IU Bloomington. Very, very interesting shit so far. But that's the whole point of that is threatening someone with legal activity is not an actual threat. Even threatening to expose them to ridicule is a civil matter. A threat is involving their physical safety. A threat requires threat of harm to physical safety in the state of Indiana. Oh, we have some trolls finally. Cool. But the simple lack of a definition that took this into consideration from the beginning ends up creating a possible first time in history kind of thing where this woman is trying to trigger the ability for an attorney to absolutely be able to represent you in his fullest capacity with First Amendment protected speech. Yeah, I just read all that. I mean, Jesus Christ. Anyway. You know what the coolest part about my troll is? My trolls. Some of them are dumb as fuck. Like, so dumb that I know they have to be LaPorte Police Department officers. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get to these. By the way, if you're interested in downloading these, it's like, I think it's a total of 44 pages. They're available on treatmentadvocacycenter.org. All 50 states. Quite a bit of information. Anyway, so second, let me check this here. All right. I'm gonna finish this cigarette actually. What do we got going on in here? Oh, we got our troll. What's up, Beaver Cam? Oh shit. Revolution Recorder. You live near the Russian roulette, huh? Can you give us any insights that you're liable to hear more in a local aspect? I'm all right, Jeff. Thank you for asking. I don't know where you live, but I'm in Northwest Indiana, which is obviously in the the Midwest, where we're experiencing super crazy cold weather right now, which ordinarily I'm, born and raised in Indiana, central Indiana. So, yeah, I definitely smoke too much, and I smoke in the house, so that's even worse. Like what I'm about to get to is ordinarily, like I said, I'm from central Indiana. I've lived here, pretty much my whole life. Um, I appreciate the four seasons. I like, the change. Um, so I like wintertime. It's actually one of my favorite seasons. The snow kills a lot of noise. I bird watch. It's beautiful outside. Um, but this is a bit much. Um, it's a bit much right now. Um, it's like, I think today was a warmer. Today was supposed to be warmer. That's what everybody was saying. It was fucking 3 degrees. I think the other night it was like -40 or some crazy ass shit. Yeah, it's other than being trapped in the house and ready for spring so I can garden, I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. Um, I'm tired of shoveling though. It's yeah, polar vortex. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck to call it. It's last year we had, I want to say, like, when they tallied it up over like the winter time, it was like 100 inches of snow, shit tons of snowfall. But it wasn't any colder than it ordinarily was. Like this year, there's probably like, I don't know, there's probably a good foot of snow outside, but it's more that it's fucking cold. Like it's freezing. Like, yeah. There was a couple days I went outside and shoveled, and it was just like, as soon as you walk outside, you feel like your eyes froze open, and it's just like you're just like stuck. Like fuck, can't close my eyes. Like can't even blink. But yeah, it's fucking cold up here right now. So like, can't even get my winter outside time in because it's just ridiculously cold. Sean Clancy, did I get an assault charge on Ficus? Yes, I did actually. Mr. Ficus tries to take my phone, grabs my phone and my wrist because he said some I don't know, some shit on camera that he apparently regretted. So yeah, I end up with an assault charge on a guy who tried to take my phone. This would be one of our fine, upstanding boys in blue that was recently called disgraceful for his dereliction of duty in his negligence and inaction leading up to 2 deaths. But yeah, I mentioned to this officer's Facebook page that he's since deleted. He had memes that were talking about just drowned somebody when they're annoying, and the typical police memes. Don't be a thug if you can't take a slug. Stupid shit like this. And I basically insinuated that I'm not going to stop recording because he's obviously, not that great of a cop. And that was it. I was under arrest. Yeah. Yeah, definitely an idiot cop. Yeah. It's pretty bad. I mean, when the local newspaper that's pretty much bought and paid for and doesn't really say anything negative about anybody, as far as politicians and cops and shit like that go, when they're actually reporting on the shit, and when a judge who usually doesn't give a fuck is calling you disgraceful, and you're a police officer, it's pretty bad. You should be fired. It's the drowning meme. Oh, screenshots? Let's see. All right. Yes, these have definitely been given to the court. Why are we still wasting the money? Who knows? Here, where we got these out. This is the guy who was just minding his own business. Definitely not try to grab my telephone. Anyway, so yes. This is Officer Patrick Cites. These are from his Facebook page. It looks backwards to me. Is this backwards to you guys? Anyway, works at LaPorte Police Department. Blah, blah, blah. You guys, lovely profile picture here, which is oh, I don't have that one. Anyway, it's if you don't like cops, you could always stop calling me to fix your problems. We have I Narcaned your honor student, pumpkin spice Narcan, because our local heroin problem is hilarious. Oh, this is the one that I mentioned, where I mentioned that he's talking about drowning people to solve his problems. Did you know if you hold a person underwater long enough, they stop being an asshole? Officer Patrick Cites. Don't be a thug if you can't take a slug. I've just had some great financial news. The boy I was sponsoring in Africa has been eaten by a lion. Very undercover racist, but fucking obvious. Because Patrick Cites, the Kardashians holding white balls for the first time. Very funny, Patrick. But yes, fine, upstanding boys in blue. I feel so safe. Interestingly enough, he has a Bible verse that says something about where there is a multitude of counsel, the people are safe. Blah 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 blah. Essentially, reinforcing what I say, that the attorneys, such, keep these lying cops safe. Oh, the judge What did the judge say about this photo of him grabbing the phone? Well, I'm on judge number 5 right now, which for anybody that's curious as about an update on my case, November 15th, 2018, I filed a petition for a special judge, special prosecutor, special public defender. There's a memorandum of law with that. We've basically just been stalling and rescheduling and things of that nature, and who knows what we're doing now. We're on judge number 5, who's basically going to recuse. I recently got some emails between him and one Dan Ward with the Indiana Disability Rights Organization, where the judge essentially calls me a disobedient child, and offers his unlicensed medical opinion about my psychology and what's going on upstairs, I suppose. And this disability rights advocate essentially advises the judge to pacify me, pacify the disobedient child. So I'm gonna have a fucking blast turning this into a shitstorm, because I've actually called all these disability rights organizations and shit like that, and I've done all the footwork on this court-appointed forensic advocate. And the judge essentially has done nothing more than try to practice psychology without a license in an ex parte communication that I was given no notice or opportunity to object to, which is, ding, 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 you guessed it, in violation of the Judicial Code of Conduct, as usual around here. Incidentally, this is the same judge that's calling the police disgraceful and discussing their dereliction of duty. He has quite a moral compass in this one case, but ordinarily, all the other times I've seen him, doesn't give a fuck about the law. So, it's interesting. Anyway, let's not let this show go on too late. Montana. So, this is Montana's inpatient and outpatient. It's going to be 53-21-126, 1 parentheses. 53-21-127, 7 in parentheses. 53-21-102, 9 in parentheses, lowercase a in parentheses. Oh, shit. All right, so your 72 for Montana is going to be 53-21-121.1 in parentheses. 53-21-129.1 in parentheses. And then you're going to have your emergency hospitalization, 53-21-129, 2 in parentheses. Gotta get a refill. Next, we're going to have Nebraska. 71-925, 1 in parentheses, 71-925, 4 in parentheses, 71-908. Then, who can initiate your court-ordered psychiatric intervention is covered under 71-921, 1 in parentheses, 71-919, 1 in parentheses. Then your 72-hour hold is going to be covered under 71-919, 1 in parentheses. Nevada, 433A.310, 1 in parentheses, 433A.115. Who can initiate in Nevada is covered under 433A.200 and 433A.160. Your 72-hour hold in Nevada is covered under 433A.160 and 433A.170. In New Hampshire, 135-C colon 34, 135-C colon 27. Who can initiate court-ordered psychiatric intervention in New Hampshire is covered under 135-C colon 35, 135-C colon 28. And your 72-hour hold is going to be covered under 135-C colon 27, 135-C colon 28. One second here. All right. New Jersey is going to be 30:4-27.2 M in parentheses, R in parentheses, H in parentheses, and I in parentheses. 30:4-27.5 B in parentheses, 30:4-27.10 G in parentheses. Who can initiate in New Jersey is covered under 30:4-27.10, 30:4-27.6. Then your 72-hour in New Jersey is covered under 30:4-27.6. New Mexico is inpatient and outpatient is covered under 43-1-11 capital E in parentheses, 43-1-3 capital M and capital N in parentheses. Your who can initiate in New Mexico is covered under 43-1-11 uppercase G in parentheses, 43-1-10 uppercase B in parentheses. Your 72-hour in New Mexico is going to be covered under 43-1-10 capital A in parentheses, 43-1-10 capital C in parentheses. New York is going to be 9.31 lowercase c in parentheses, 9.01, 9.60 capital C in parentheses. Who can initiate in New York is covered under 9.27 lowercase a in parentheses, 9.60 lowercase e in parentheses, 1 in parentheses, and 9.43 lowercase a in parentheses. Then your 72-hour in New York is going to be covered under 9.39 lowercase a in parentheses. North Carolina, your inpatient is going to be covered under 122 capital C dash 268 lowercase j in parentheses, 122 C dash 311 in parentheses, 122 C dash 267 lowercase h in parentheses, 122 C dash 263 lowercase d in parentheses, 1 in parentheses, 122 capital C dash 271 lowercase a in parentheses. All right, then who can initiate in North Carolina is covered under 122 C-261 lowercase a in parentheses, 122 capital C-262 lowercase a in parentheses. Then your 72-hour hold in North Carolina is going to be covered under 122 C-262 lowercase a in parentheses. North Dakota, your inpatient is 25-03.1-07, 25-03.1-02, 12 in parentheses. In North Dakota, who can initiate is covered under 25-03.1.08 and 25-03.1-25.1. Your 72-hour in North Dakota is going to be covered under 25-03.1-25.1 and 25-03.1-25.2. Ohio, your inpatient is going to be covered under 5122.15 capital C in parentheses, 5122.01 capital B in parentheses. Your who can initiate a court-ordered psychiatric intervention is going to be covered under 51.22 or 5122.11 for Ohio, 5122.10. Then your 72-hour for Ohio is going to be covered under 5122.10 as well. Your inpatient for Oklahoma is going to be Title 43A 1-10313 in parentheses A in parentheses. Who can initiate in Oklahoma is going to be covered under 43A Oklahoma Statute 5-410 capital A in parentheses and 5-207 capital G in parentheses. What's up there, James? Your 72-hour in Oklahoma is going to be covered under 43A Oklahoma Statute 5-207. Inpatient for Oregon is going to be covered under 426.005, 1 in parentheses, E in parentheses. Who can initiate in Oregon is covered under 426.070, 1 in parentheses, and 426.228, 1 in parentheses. Your 72-hour in Oregon is going to be covered under 426.228, 1 in parentheses. Your inpatient in Pennsylvania is covered under 7301 or 50 Pennsylvania Constitution statutes annotated 7301 lowercase a in parentheses, 7301 lowercase b in parentheses, 7304 lowercase a in parentheses, and 7304 lowercase f in parentheses. Who could initiate in Pennsylvania is covered under 50 PA Constitution Statutes Annotated 7304 lowercase c in parentheses 1 in parentheses and 7302 lowercase a in parentheses. Then your 72-hour is going to be 50 PA Constitution Statutes Annotated 7301. Rhode Island's inpatient is 40.1-5-8 lowercase j in parentheses and 40.1-5-2 in parentheses. I don't have a landlord. What the fuck? Anyway. Sorry. You guys are having a unique conversation. All right. Who can initiate in Rhode Island is covered under 40.1-5-8 lowercase a in parentheses 40.1-5-7 lowercase a in parentheses 1 in parentheses. And then your 72-hour in Rhode Island is going to be 40.1-5-7 lowercase a in parentheses 1 in parentheses. South Carolina. Inpatient. 44-17-580 and 44-23-1012 in parentheses 20 in parentheses. Who can initiate a court-ordered psychiatric intervention for mental illness in South Carolina is covered under 44-17-510 and 44-17-410. Oh, give me 1 second here. I didn't have much. Well, I did not manage my time well, so I did not get all charged up. So, I'm using these handy battery packs, but as you can see, we got 1 of 4 little lights left, as opposed to this nice fresh guy here. Anyway, very useful. I found these at Menards. They don't really have a name brand, but they're like $5, man. So I got a couple of them. I don't even think they're that. They're like $3 or $4, but they've definitely proven themselves worth it, and much more. Anyway, where are we? South Dakota. Yeah, we only got like 12 more. What the fuck are you guys talking about with the landlord? Anyway. South Dakota. Inpatient's going to be 27A-1-2, 27A-1-1, forward in parentheses, and 5 in parentheses. Who can initiate court-ordered psychiatric intervention for South Dakota is going to be covered under 27A-10-1. And your 72-hour for South Dakota is going to be covered under 27A-10-1 as well. Tennessee inpatient is 33-6-501, 33-6-502. Who can initiate in Tennessee is covered under 33-6-504 and 33-6-402. Your 72-hour in Tennessee is going to be covered under 33-6-401 and 33-6-403. Texas, inpatient is 574.034, 574.035. Who can initiate in Texas is covered under 574.001 lowercase a in parentheses, 573.011 lowercase a in parentheses. 72-hour in Texas is going to be covered under 573.001 lowercase a in parentheses, 573.011. Utah inpatient is going to be 62A-15-631, 10 in parentheses, 62A-15-602, 12 in parentheses, 62A-15-602, 13 in parentheses. Who can initiate in Utah is covered under 62A-15-631, 1 in parentheses, 62A-15-629, 1 in parentheses, A in parentheses, and your 72-hour in Utah is going to be covered under 62A-15-629, 1 in parentheses, A in parentheses, II to make it 2 in parentheses. And then 62A-15-629, 2 in parentheses. Nick Ammon. 40.1-4.1 Q-A5. Did I just read that? Rhode Island, I'm thinking. Anyway, moving along. Vermont. Title 18, 7611. Title 18, 7101, 16 in parentheses. Title 18, 7101, 17 in parentheses. Who can initiate in Vermont is going to be covered under Title 18, 7612, lowercase a in parentheses. Title 18, 7101, 9 in parentheses. Title 18, 7504, lowercase a in parentheses. And Title 18, 7505, lowercase a in parentheses. 72-hour is going to be covered under Title 18, 7504, lowercase a in parentheses, and Title 18, 7505, lowercase a in parentheses as well. That's fucking weird. They're not in alphabetical order. Because Vermont, then Virginia. VT, VA. Because they're doing it E in Vermont, I in Virginia. All right. Anyway, your inpatient in Virginia is going to be 37.1-67.3 uppercase I in parentheses and 37.1-67.3 uppercase J in parentheses. Your who can initiate in Virginia is going to be covered under 37.2-808 uppercase A in parentheses and 37.2-809 uppercase B in parentheses. And then your 72-hour in Virginia is going to be covered under 37.2-808 uppercase A in parentheses and 37.2-809 uppercase B in parentheses. Washington is going to be 71.05.243 in parentheses for your inpatient and 71.05.02017 in parentheses, 19 in parentheses, 25 in parentheses, and 45 in parentheses. Who can initiate in Washington is going to be covered under 71.05.230, 71.05.150, 71.05.153, and then your 72-hour in Washington is going to be covered under 71.05.153 as well. West Virginia is going to be 27-5-4 lowercase j in parentheses and 27-1-12 for inpatient. West Virginia, who can initiate, is going to be covered under 27-5-4 B, lowercase b in parentheses, and 27-5-2 lowercase a in parentheses. Your 72-hour is going to be 27-5-2 lowercase a in parentheses. Wisconsin, inpatient, 51.20, 1 in parentheses, lowercase a in parentheses, 1 not in parentheses. 51.20, 1 in parentheses, lowercase a in parentheses, 2 not in parentheses. Who can initiate a court order in Wisconsin is covered under 51.21 in parentheses, lowercase b in parentheses, and 51.15, 1 in parentheses, lowercase a in parentheses. 72-hour in Wisconsin is going to be covered under 51.15, 1 in parentheses, lowercase a in parentheses, and last but not least, Wyoming. Inpatient is covered under 25-10-110, lowercase j in parentheses, 25-10-101, lowercase a in parentheses, ix signifying Roman numeral 9, in parentheses, 25-10-101a, ii signifying Roman numeral 2, in parentheses, 25-10-110, lowercase j in parentheses, ii signifying Roman numeral 2 in parentheses. Who can initiate the court-ordered psychiatric intervention in Wyoming is covered under 25-10-110 point lowercase a in parentheses and 25-10-109 point lowercase a in parentheses. A 72-hour emergency hospitalization in Wyoming would be covered under 25-10-109 lowercase a in parentheses. I did not realize just how much of a mouthful that was actually going to be when I committed to doing two Friday night sites, just reading these off. You guys are champs, man. Troopers. Thank you very much. It was tedious for me. Civilian X. They all they some of them are pretty open as to who can commit you. I don't remember all of them, but like I know Indiana's got some fairly loose language, like a friend. Anybody can say that they're your friend and just try to have you committed. So overall, I think there were like at least like 6 or 7 that had some pretty loose language as far as to who could do it. And then there's at least a couple that mirror what Indiana has going on as far as it's pretty loose with an officer. You know, fuck, they don't even know the law half the time, so I'm sure their psychology assessment skills are fucking just, you know, top of the line, you know, top flight security of the world. But the like in Indiana, it basically says, you know, a police officer can charge you with having a mental illness. Like it's pretty open language. There's it's, you know, it's definitely a fail safe. You know, if they can't convict you, they can always commit you. So you know, there's variations, but most of them seem to be, yeah, it's just like in Cali, the 5150. Like that's what everybody knows is the 5150. But it's as you see, all 50 states have one, and Washington, D.C. does as well. And it's definitely what they're leading up to when the police don't get what they want from you, when they don't get the engagement that they want, and they ask you if you're okay and do you need medical assistance, things of this nature. This is why I always tell people, you know, it's best to answer that question, because silence is consent, according to the law, and that's what you're playing with is the law. It's you know, this isn't a medical procedure. This is a bunch of legal definitions. If they have you committed, it's according to the law. As I said, here in Indiana, the police can charge you with having a mental illness, and then they can apply a criminal charge if one is applicable. It doesn't have to be a crime. You do not have to be, you know. Yes, it's very serious. And the reason I want to do this is because I anticipate the police will, you know, this is what they're trying to build their big case on, is that I'm a crazy person. Because I talk loud and I move my hands a lot, and I call it how the fuck it is, things of this nature. You know, ask my trolls. They've been, you know, I'm clearly a mass shooter. That's just, you know, any day now, I'm gonna lose my mind and do something crazy and violent because I'm a lunatic. That's, you know, because that's what people hear when you say you have PTSD or Asperger's or something of this nature, is that I'm one of the any day now I'm gonna go crazy and end up committed, because I've got a 5-year plan apparently. It's very amusing, because at some point, wouldn't hold your breath. It's easy to point out that someone has a quirk or a difference or an oddity about them, and to demonize it to the point where you can act as if it justifies your proactive behavior. Right. I don't have PTSD, autism, or Asperger's. Because what? None of them are real, or what? Anyway, it's no, it's here. We're gonna address this because I think it's funny because when you hear disability, you think I get a check, and now like all this goose, you got a job. Like I break like 3 of you during the season. You guys quit. You walk the fuck out. It's all you motherfuckers that comment couldn't do my job. So, but the thing is that's like a whole nother kind of thing that you try to lead into. You segue into this, get a fucking job, and you've basically deemed that I couldn't possibly have a job because I have Asperger's, which is not like you're basically saying that anyone who has an autism spectrum disorder or PTSD and says it out loud clearly is fucking worthless, and they don't have a job because they verbally said they had a disability. Which, you're the kind of stupid motherfucker that this is the fantasy America that you live in, that you think that the money that the government is stealing from your dumb ass, they give to me, which is wrong. It's wrong. The government doesn't give me your money. I get that you're like a coward, and like you're gonna let the government take your money, but they don't give it to me. As we all know, they spend it on making sure that we have a steady supply of opium from Afghanistan and, things of this nature, gold, oil, drugs, lithium for your phones, cobalt. This is what they spend your money on. They don't give it to people like me just because I'm fucking weird. like the shit cracks me up. But yeah, that's the best part about it. The whole I'm wasting tax money is my entire situation with the city of LaPorte sort of begins because I document, I'm recording with a camera, and it makes people uncomfortable when you have a camera. So the city of LaPorte just spent like $20,000 on a camera system for City Hall. They've all got like these fucking, they've got their monitors, and they've, a couple of them have moved their desk around. You check in my videos, you'll see some of these changes. But yeah, they've got like this. Now, I don't mind at all. I've been asking about cameras in this place for years, because they're public record. I'll be able to get copies of all this footage and shit. I'll be able to fill in all kinds of blanks where I don't, I've seen a cool police body cam that goes on your shoulder where it gets like a full 360. I can't do that. But fuck, they got like 10 cameras in here now. I'll be able to get all sorts of angles and see all kinds of cool shit. We'd be able to watch body language and who's going where and where they're hanging out before they come upstairs to do a welfare check on a motherfucker on their lunch break while they're there to see HR, whatever, yada, yada, yada. When they make up their stories, we'll be able to compare video footage and see all these kinds of things. So I don't mind the cameras at all, but I just think it's hilarious because, to be perfectly honest, for $20,000 I spent on cameras, hell, I'd have stopped recording. $20,000 is a nice little chunk of money, you know what I mean? To have all at once in cash, 20 grand. What's up there, Maui? Happy Friday. We're talking about my local city hall, you know, $20,000 camera system. But yeah, for $20,000, hell, I'd have stopped recording. They could have just paid me to stop recording. It makes them so uncomfortable that they gotta record me back for 20 grand. Look here now. I got these little yellow notepads, and they make me look real official with my little ink pad in there, taking fucking notes like a real reporter. You know, flashback Fridays and shit. You know, I'll figure it out. For $20,000, I'd have stopped recording, but they spent $20,000 on cameras to record the guy that makes everybody uncomfortable because he's carrying a camera. It's a nice little poetic justice. So, which that's just those cameras. I don't know how much. I'm wondering how much the guy that follows me around at all the public meetings recording me with like a. He's got some like 1982 RCA camcorder or fucking looking thing. You know, and on a tripod and shit. I'm wondering what that's adding up to. Which, speaking of, when this dude's there recording me, where's this guy when we need him? You know what I mean? He's the LaPorte County GOP chairman or some shit, LaPorte Republican Party. Then we got the, well shit, even this guy would work. Here. The former LaPorte County Republican. He was just worldwide famous blocking a camera for us in Indianapolis. So, man, where the fuck's a LaPorte County Republican Party president to block a camera when you fucking need them, huh? Anyway, what'd you say there, Civilian X, about him filming? I've been busy writing some shit up for court. As I said, I got a judge that's made some crazy ass comments in his emails, and I'm gonna do the complaint process and everything with that. But no, I'm about to. I got a couple days to. I think I got like 8 days to request a couple different things before the retention schedule time runs out. So I got to put in for some paperwork, some stuff that me and you talked about, and then I'm gonna put in for a few more things. But yeah, I'm gonna start asking about all kinds of shit that's been going on police officers' phones and attorneys' phones and any of this shit, whether on duty or on shift or whatever, whether working, whether discussing me and official business about pertaining to me and things of this nature. But the recordings specifically, I'm going to request because what they're going to claim is some sort of law enforcement investigatory exemption bullshit, which is going to conflict with several other things that they've claimed while in conversations with me and things of this nature. But yeah, they tend to trip themselves up with other shit that they previously have said, and then their attorney, I don't know if he tells them what to say, and then he claims something different, or they don't talk to this motherfucker or what. But they're typically not on the same page. But these videos that are basically being created, I'd like to see what the official title is, you know, on all that. Because if they're claiming law enforcement investigatory exemption, it's one thing. If they're not, could be a few things. So I'd just like to get the official stance on what the video footage is for. I've seen that my story is fucking Netflix in waiting. So, you know, maybe the police are maybe they're just anticipating that they're going to need to, you know, get some income coming in pay all these lawsuits for all the shit that they keep doing to fuck up. So they're gonna get in, take all my footage to Netflix or some shit. Who knows? But law enforcement investigatory exemption is what I'm assuming, which means that they're claiming that they're investigating a crime, which is what I'm anticipating. So, but yeah, that's about it for tonight, I think. I'm about tapped out on Convo. Yeah, don't know we'll do that again, unless it's for a good topic. I don't know what I'm going to do next Friday's episode on, everyone. I was thinking about doing it on Fourth Amendment search and seizure. Not quite sure yet. I got a few things that I was thinking about doing it on, but good possibility I'll do it on search and seizure. However, I will, post on the little community post deal as normal, and yada yada. That being said, might need a cigarette. Thanks everyone. Thanks Civilian, Cindy. Thank you Trolls for finally showing up. Maui, if you're still here. James. Marie. But yes, thank you to my mods. Thanks everyone for watching. If you're not watching this live, if you're watching it later, thank you as well. Like I said, this is all about education. It's just information. It's never legal advice. Fully encourage you to self-educate, to learn. Should you seek the opinion of an attorney, that's your prerogative. Attorneys get information from books. Books are these things that they hide in libraries, but they contain a wealth of information, wealth of knowledge. So I strongly advocate, doing your own research. Thank you, Maui. Yeah, I'm always reading, man. I always want to be a library when I grow up. But I strongly advocate for doing your own reading, your own research. Find your local ordinances, your local laws for your state. I see a lot of people that know a lot of laws. It's good to know a lot of stuff, federal and state. But your local ordinances, things of this nature, sometimes it's like sandpaper. Your local ordinances would be a little bit more of a fine grit. So it's always good to pay attention to those, because though it may not be illegal in your state or illegal federally, sometimes things are outlawed, from your city council and things of this nature. So it's always good to pay attention to, just about as local as you can get to yourself. It's not just state and federal, your city ordinances, things of this nature, county. It's good to stay up on all of that. But like I said, it's your prerogative who you want to get your information from. I prefer to go to the information and take it with me and be the individual you get your information from, so that we share and share alike. Information is free. Most state, federal local, county, city ordinances, things of this nature, public record. You just gotta want to learn the information. It's really about all it is to it. There's nothing special to this. It's about passion. It's about drive. It's about wanting a change. It's about not trusting the individuals who were supposed to take this information and make the world a better place with it anymore. So learning it myself. But as always, not legal advice, strictly for informational purposes. I strongly advocate that you do your own research, do your own reading. Know that the information that you're relying upon is correct because you double and triple and quadruple checked it yourself. That being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And as always, safety first, then teamwork. Be careful out there. If you're auditing, as I said, they are slowly but surely trying to label you as some sort of aggressor and a non-existent war on police. So, as always, stay vigilant, be careful out there, yada, yada, yada. I'm out.